This year was a devastating one for firefighters. As we showed you earlier in the newscast, almost 8 million acres have burned in 2008 in the United States. But did you know the largest wildfire in our country's history happened in Idaho in 1910?
In tonight's Idaho Gems, Brendan Stanley takes us to where it all happened and introduces us to a wildland firefighter that is truly an American hero.
In 1910, the largest fire in U.S. history burned over 3 million acres. That's an area the size of the state of Connecticut, and it happened in just 48 hours. A man by the name of Ed Pulaski was the leader of a crew of wildland forest fires, and during that fire, he became a national hero.
The pristine views and secluded beauty of this path have an almost somber stillness. It's as if the trail knows the incredible weight of what happened here long ago and the reverence that it deserves. This is the Pulaski Trail, named for Ed Pulaski, the man who would risk his life to save his men from certain death.
He was not your typical forest ranger at the time. Ed was in his 35 or 40 midlife. He knew the trails, he knew the forest like the back of his hand because he had worked for the mining companies and then he worked for building trails.
This experience would prove life-saving. When the fire of 1910 hit the area, many described it like the end of the world.
And it was a firestorm, you know, it was hurricane force winds. A lot of the damage was it blew the trees down, you know. Trees were exploding, smoke went all the way back east to New York. And in those days, you know, they were fighting fires with blankets and shovels and rakes and axes. That's all they had.
Ed Pulaski was in the town of Wallace when his crew of 45 men became trapped on the mountain by the raging fire.
When he left town, he left his wife and his child here to face the fire on their own because he felt responsibility for his firefighters. He left town the day before. On his way up there, it started getting so bad, he was bringing along some packers and mules with equipment to take up to the firefighters, and the packers quit halfway up the hill and decided they're not going. And you know, Ed continued on. You know, he lost a lot of material doing that. Once he got up there, he had to organize and get those people together and then lead them down. He could have left on his own. You got to remember, these firefighters were people out of jail. They were migrants, immigrants who spoke different languages. They had no idea where they were. They had no way to get out of there. So, you know, he saved their lives.
Ed knew of a mine shaft and led the men to it, taking cover as the fire literally burned over them.
You know, he held them at gunpoint to keep them in that mine, and he basically saved their lives by doing that. I'm hoping that they take away an experience of the history, where the Forest Service really learned their true calling, I guess, and appreciate what the modern firefighter is doing for them.
This tool is used in wildland firefighting. It has an axe on one end and a shovel on the other, and is still used by firefighters today. It was invented by Ed Pulaski and is aptly called a Pulaski. Now back to you.